So let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 6th, 2020. We got a couple minutes here, all right, before the close. Q's going to start off this week, okay, up 7.4% on the Q's, up 7.1% there on the SPY. Pretty impressive move up today. Now, coming into today, all right, bias was neutral, okay? And if we break out of this range and get follow through, expect dips to be buyable. Okay, so that is going to be the plan going into tomorrow. Okay, is that hourly uptrend is back in focus here. All right, and we are failing on the daily sell setup. Okay, so we had this daily sell setup. All right, triggered. We were seeing the market base didn't follow through lower. We talked about what we would need to see in order to be bearish, but because of the time frame conflict, we weren't bearish, we were neutral. Okay, and now today we got this nice gap up today in the market. Pretty big sized gap, and we are going to close here strong. Now, keep in mind that I'm not saying just fall into the market expecting us to have a straight shot back up to the highs, okay? Expect hourly pullbacks to get bought. So that is kind of the opportunity that we're going to be looking for, right? Is that when the market comes in, barring any kind of, big disaster kind of gap, but, falling in on this kind of entry, is the kind of thing where you can easily kind of get kind of stuck into the top for a few days, as opposed to waiting for a much nicer entry point, with a better reward to risk, right? Better chance of seeing a green position for earlier and longer. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for. Buy setups in the market, expect them to get bought. Those will be our entry points. Okay, so bullish going into tomorrow, expect the dips to get bought. All right, and the other thing to look for here as we move ahead, as we're now in April, only a week or two away from earnings season, is to look for those that showed a lot of strength in comparison to the Qs and SPY. Okay, so now that the market has failed on this sell setup, actually failed on it in quite a hurry there, to look for those showing relative strength, okay? Because as we get closer to earnings season, right, we're going to start to see earnings reports, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of those companies start to kind of differentiate themselves from the pack, okay? And so we definitely seen a lot of sectors especially kind of move in tandem, right? The MFA, the mortgage REITs, the NYMT, these companies that got beat up pretty good and are looking to potentially transition higher. We saw a lot of energy names also recovering today, right? And so knowing kind of what you're going after also is going to be really, really important, although the market, right, is looking to transition higher now. You can see this 20 MA, okay? So market is bullish, but I think the important thing about that, the bullish read going into tomorrow and the rest of the week, is not that, just get it where as soon as you can and expect a straight shot up, right? I think it will be a good amount of back and forth moving ahead into the earnings season, and then earnings season, we'll see kind of which companies are expected to kind of weather the rest of the year the best. All right, so, that's what I'm going to be looking for moving ahead. The market today was really everything. Was called as a trend day pretty early on here. We tried to come in, and then we got bought right back up to the highs, right? So the goal really was to kind of get long something and stay long. I wasn't really able to take advantage. I think, in fact, maybe the best idea would have been to just play the Qs here. I think that actually would have been pretty nice. and then kind of nice acceleration into the top here. Okay, one more thing I want to mention about this kind of acceleration into the top is that it's not really a good sign for the Qs. Just for tomorrow. Doesn't mean that, we topped out or anything like that. Okay, but when we've seen these big moves up into the close, right? Typically we see a little bit of a gap down tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised, right, if we get a gap down tomorrow, right? It's a little bit counterintuitive. You would think closing so strong would ensure that we end up gapping up tomorrow. That's not what I would expect. I would expect us to close below or to open tomorrow below today's close, and that the test of that pullback will be all important. Okay, and so we'll see what that looks like going into tomorrow. All right, and the rest of the week. But market here, no other read here for me except bullish. All right, if we're not able to hold this hourly here, we'll have to look at it again, see if we're starting to transition back down. But we're a couple setups away from that, right? Not really going to be that relevant for tomorrow, barring any kind of really big gap down or something kind of catastrophic like that. Okay, going into tomorrow, bullish bias and looking for the next hourly buy setup as a good buyable opportunity. Okay. Hope you did well today. I didn't think today was all that easy. I know the market had a nice all-day trend today, but trend day is usually not my favorite kind of environment to trade. We'll see what we get tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised especially if the market gets a little choppier from here as we try and kind of recover from this steep drop that we had last month. That things get a little bit sloppier and choppier, and I wouldn't even be surprised if I take a lot fewer trades in the next couple of weeks as we wait for earnings season to start than I did in March. March was kind of the busiest month that I've had in a couple of years, really. So wouldn't be surprised if things start to slow down a little bit, or maybe a good amount. So, but we'll see. We'll do our typical scanning and see what sets up. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your evening.